what happened behind the scenes, and will they sue you for talking to us about it? To be completely honest with you, I don't know. I also didn't know when the show was airing, and I outwardly spoke up against my contract. I know that I breached my contract while the show was filming because I was so offended by what I was seeing on TV, and honestly so shocked I couldn't not say anything at the time. And there's certain details, that they want you to keep quiet. Specifics like the winner or, guest judges or final standing, or in general, like they don't want you to name drop the girls who made it into house, the top 20, or in our case, it was 15. But there's certain things like that they seriously don't want you, that they seriously don't want you to say. But as far as personally, how things affected you or did you, to me, it was logical for me to speak out. I know some of the things that I said were a little forward and really honest, but at the same time, you guys, I know 100%. I tell everybody that I get the chance to tell my full story about America's Next Top Model and how it affected me. I'm honest. I definitely breached my contract. The contract agreement is $5.4 million if you speak out against the contract. I did. However, the things that I said weren't name dropping and things like that. It was actually things that could get them in trouble, and put them in some serious trouble and have some serious repercussions for them. And I truly think that that's the only reason that they didn't come after me for $5.4 million. And I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. God, this is crazy. So this is something that happened on the show that a lot of people had no idea because it never aired, right? So, Mom, why are you telling me to shush? I'm not going to shush, and you should never tell me to shush. You're my mother, and you know how these things affected me mentally, emotionally. You should never tell me to be quiet. Am I still doing the story with Vice? Honestly, I don't even know what happened with that. I was speaking out against it, and Vice reached out to me and said that they were going to pick up the story, but never did. So maybe one day, but I haven't heard from them in like a year. So I don't know. Maybe I shared too many details on social media. Who knows? But my point within all of this is that I definitely spoke out, and I breached my contract. I breached that $5.4 million, and they never came after me. I never got a cease and desist. None of that stuff. But I really think that it was because of this one incident. So I'm gonna not look at the comments for a second because I have the attention span of a goldfish, like seriously. And I can't hear myself think while I'm seeing all you guys' comments. So I would rather do films. I don't want to do anything that's like fake script or drama. That's not my thing. I would love to be an actress, but not reality TV. You guys will never see me on reality TV ever again, not unless I'm a judge and I have the upper hand. But at the same time, I know how it affects people, so I don't think that it was something that I would go into. No, contractually the agreement is up as of January 9th of 2019. So it ends a year after your air date, which for us was January 9th of 2018. So it just finished. The contract is over. I don't have to abide by it anymore. These dates aren't in my contract, so I don't think so. But let me tell you guys this. See, this is why my brain, look. Okay. Oh, thank you. Gosh, you guys, I seriously have the worst attention span. Okay, so, let me tell you. So, there was an incident in our house where, and at this point, pretty much everybody was living in the house. I'm not sure we really had gotten to much for eliminations or anything. So, I think it was maybe all 15 contestants, 14 maybe. Actually, no. To be completely honest, it was the episode where Jordan Dunn comes in and I won the challenge, to be honest. That episode specifically, the very first challenge that I won. In the middle of, so it's kind of confusing the way that they show it on TV. everything's not back to back to back. Like this happens, that happens, this happens, this happens. There's hours in between most of our events. For instance, like we do the selfie challenge. It literally took probably like an hour and a half for them to choose a winner. But they were upstairs in our bedroom, you know, things like that. So we're sitting down in our living room, and Tyra and Jordan Dunn were upstairs choosing a winner for the competition. In the meantime, everyone's still downstairs in their outfits, and in the meantime, I had one of the producers pull me aside. At this point, I didn't know I was going to win that challenge. I didn't know anything that was going on, but she pulls me upstairs and pulls me into a hallway. And she asked me, or said to me, I guess she didn't really ask me, she was like, Jeana, we have reason to believe that you have a cell phone here. And I was like, a cell phone? You guys took my cell phone at check-in. And just so you guys are aware of that, when you check in, we are sequestered in a hotel for a week without cameras. You get a room by yourself. You aren't allowed to come out of your room, and I mean that. You have to stick your head out of the door and wave down security at the other end of the hallway if someone's there, or dial a number to another room for someone to come and bring you something. But you couldn't get food. You were on a schedule. They ordered you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it was always the same things, and you literally couldn't leave your room for a week. They take your cell phone. They took my keys. At the time, at the time I smoked cigarettes. They did not warn me that I wouldn't be able to smoke. They took my cigarettes. You name it. They literally took everything that I owned the moment that I got into a hotel and put it in a plastic bag, and I didn't see it again for 2.5 months. But I gave them my phone. They do it on purpose so that you can't reach out to your family. You can't get on social media and disclose information that they don't want disclosed before it hasn't even hit the air yet, you know, things like that. But they took my phone. At the time, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was 24 years old. I wasn't making a lot of money. My career wasn't going very great at all. I could afford my life, but there were little things that were for sure necessities that I wouldn't have been able to afford myself, and my cell phone was one of them. My mom, at the age of 24, I was still on my parents' phone plan. They paid for my phone. I didn't have a phone that I could afford on my own. I didn't have a secondary phone. I didn't have a work phone and a personal phone. I had this one phone, and they took it from me. For some reason, this producer pulled me upstairs. Her name was Jamie, to be specific. And she told me, that they have reason to believe that I have a phone. And it was really confusing and caught me off guard. And I just remember telling her, no, like, what would make you guys took my phone? Like, I'm so confused. And I said, what would make you guys think that? And they were like, and she said, she was like, we just have, she wouldn't really give me any specifics. She literally just said, we just have reason to believe that you have a phone. Do you or do you not have a phone? And I was kind of caught off guard and just kind of taken aback by the whole thing, because I was like, no. And I started bawling and telling her, like, you have no idea how much of a dream it is for me to be here on America's Next Top Model, and I would never do anything. I would never do anything that would jeopardize my participation in a competition like that. And I wouldn't throw it away for a phone. I literally waited my entire life to get there, and I wouldn't have hung on to something as small as a phone. For what? But for some reason, they were so worried about this phone. And she kept telling me, we still think that you have the phone, no matter what I said. So she lets me go back into the house with the rest of the girls. And they all asked me, why did she bring you up there? And they would always do things like that, where production would pull me and separate just me from the rest of the girls. And it honestly made the rest of the cast hate me. A lot of the comments that you guys see the girls make in their interviews, a lot of the time it's because the producers made it seem like I was separated from the rest of them. They would separate me from them. But in reality, if you ask all the girls and you talk to them to this day, a lot of them will tell you my nickname in the house was Mother Teresa. I gave away extra underwear to contestants that came into the house without any. I did everything that I could. And it wasn't a forceful thing. That's just who I am as a person. I didn't grow up with much. And when I don't see people, and when I see people who don't have much going into a competition and they need to compete and they need to be the best them, who am I to deprive somebody of having something if I have extra? Every single one of the girls will tell you that. Even the ones that might seem like I had beef on TV with. It's not the way that it seemed on TV. And so for me, it affected me going back into the house and trying to live a normal life with those girls too. Like, because they always felt like production had some sort of separate plan for me. Like, I even felt that they did because they would do that to me all the time and I didn't understand it. But we went back, when I went back down into the house, maybe 20 minutes later, they come out and it was Tyra and Jordan Dunn. They come downstairs and they finally announce the winner of the competition, or that challenge. And they say it was me. And so all the girls are sitting there thinking, like, oh, they told you that you were going to win this, you know? That's kind of what it was. So the girls didn't even believe, like, it was just a really stressful situation. But, oh, this is what I did, though. When I came downstairs, they sat there and told me, they just told you that you're going to win. We know that you're going to win. And I said, no, I don't know that, and that's not what they said to me. They literally interrogated me about the fact that they think I have a cell phone here. And I don't. And I was like, so somebody, and I sat back, I literally stepped back from all the girls. I said, so one of you bitches in this house, in the nicest way, girls are just bitches. I call myself a bitch. It's fine. It's not an offensive term. But I said, so one of these bitches in this house have a phone. And I said, and whoever it is needs to confess to that, because I'm taking the blame for something that I'm not doing. And it makes me look bad. And of course they don't believe me. So because I said something, they come down, they announce the winner, and because the whole house was aware of it now, listen to this, they told me to go into the house and to not say anything to any of the other contestants. Why? Why just call me out for it? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? So of course I'm gonna let the other girls know. So that was kind of the start of like them kind of knowing that Jeana wasn't going to play the game that they wanted me to play. And don't worry, buddy, I'm going to post this on my story later so that everyone can refer back to it. But they literally told me not to tell anybody. Why would I do that? And so when I told the girls, they said, no, wait. So everybody's sitting down. We're all like, who has a phone? Like, we all gave away our phones when we came in and blah, 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 blah. Like, so we're all trying to figure out who it was. And I said, I don't know who it was, honestly, and I don't care. All I know is that it is a breach of contract, and whoever has that phone shouldn't be in this competition, and it's not fair. At the end of the day, it's not fair. And so because they were aware that I told the rest of the house, after they announced that I won that challenge, the producers come into the house. This is one of very few times that the producers have actually been on camera. They sat on our couches with us and had cameramen film them talking to us, telling us that having a phone in this house, someone for sure has a phone in this house, and that having the phone in the house is a breach of the contract, and that whoever has it, I don't know if you guys remember, we had a table in our living room, like a coffee table, and it had a little teal box in the center of it. And they said, whoever has it, please drop the phone in this box by 7 o'clock in the morning, and your competition standing will not depend on the situation. We just want the phone out of the house. That is all. And then they looked at me, and I looked at her, and I said again, they pulled me aside. I don't have this damn phone, and that's not fair. And I said, so whoever has it in this house, I said, please come forward so that I don't have to deal with this. Nobody said anything. Everyone goes crazy, digging through everybody's bag, you know, and it was crazy. Like, it was one of those situations where it's like, look, if a phone got in this house, someone shoved it up their ass and keistered it into the house. Let's be real. Like, they literally went through everything. They ransacked my entire bag when I stepped into this hotel. And we never found the phone. So I'd make a joke out of it every time I had an interview. So he said squat and spread. Yes. All this for a damn phone, y'all. Yes. Yes. So immediately it started with this, with them hating me, in production thinking that I had a phone. But this is the truth behind why I feel when I originally spoke out while the show was airing, and I definitely was in breach of my contract for being honest. I think at the end of the day, they were ultimately still scared that somehow I was the girl with that phone and that I had something that could get them in trouble. I wish I did. I wish I keistered a phone into that house. I wish I would have known what I know now so that I could show you guys proof. Yeah, they might have made the phone up to create tension, sure, but I truly think at that point I was telling them that I'm not going to stand for this, and you guys can't expect that when I get out of this house that I'm going to be quiet. I'm just not that kind of girl. I'm going to be honest. It is what it is. They knew that they had a problem on their hands and somebody who was going to be honest and speak on their bullshit. I really think that they thought that I had the phone. You know? No, I never hated anybody. The producers make all that up. They take one girl out of the house while we get back from a photo shoot, you know, and everybody wants to like decompress and chill for a second. So of course, you know, a couple girls grab some wine, go have, you know, a seat in the hot tub, or like just chill, take their makeup off. But we're required to have interviews throughout the night. But they would purposely, it's in the past now, you shouldn't worry about it. No, it's not in the past. It's still current. I'm still modeling currently. This is my current profession. This is my career. And I'm still facing challenges now getting jobs, or not being physically harassed in the airport when I'm going through security because the female TSA agent recognizes me from Top Model and fucking hates me. Really think about that. This is not okay. And the saddest part about this, you guys, I direct messaged Tyra while this was happening. And I can show you guys. I'll be happy to post a screenshot of my story. I'm happy to. I direct messaged Tyra Banks and expressed to her that I know that this isn't all in her hands. I know that she didn't do it. But the producers did. And unfortunately, her name is on it. No one knows the producers. It's not the Ken Mock's Next Top Model. It's not Jamie's Next Top Model. It's Tyra Banks and America's Next Top Model. And that's why people put so much on her, because she's the face, she's the representative, she's the creator, she's the founder of this entire venture. So that's why it does fall on her. I sent her a message and explained to her what goes on behind the scenes in production, just in case she didn't know. I'm sure she does. I'm 100% sure she does. 24 cycles of America's Next Top Model in like 15 years. She knows. Plenty of girls have told her. She read my message, you guys, and left it on scene. She never responded to me. Like, who does that? This is your name. There's lawsuits being brought up because of things like this. But you don't want any responsibility in it. You claim and you speak on all this female empowerment and building people up and accepting their differences, when in reality, you do the opposite. You physically push the opposite. You might say something else, but your actions prove otherwise. And that's so sad. And I guess I'll go back to the beginning a little bit when I first met her. And I can still remember, sorry, I get emotional because a lot of this makes me really sad. But I still remember what it was like. I auditioned for cycle 18 of America's Next Top Model. I think it was the first girl-guy cycle. And I didn't make it. They didn't give a shit about my look. Like, I wasn't interesting to them at the time. That's fine. You know, but I never thought I would do it again. I figured, you know, I'd try one time and it was going to be a pretty obvious, like, you're a little too short to do this, you know. So I kind of took it as that, and I never really thought that I would try again. I did, and obviously I moved further in the competition, but you guys, I was really excited to meet Tyra. And this woman built me up from a place, like, this is how important Top Model and how much of an impact this made on my life. Top Model aired the same year that I was diagnosed with alopecia. Like, Top Model debuted the same year that I was diagnosed with alopecia and lost all my hair. And I remember I would go home from school just to watch America's Next Top Model, just to watch Tyra preach about how being different is beautiful and how having something so imperfect makes you beautiful. And I grew up idolizing this woman. Not even my own mom. And slowly trying to use her words as encouragement to like gain this confidence that no one in media was going to help me build because there wasn't anybody with alopecia. And I was so excited to meet her, you guys. Like, so excited. And I walked in and I introduced myself. And right away, I don't get starstruck. I'm not one of those girls. Even with Tyra, I still do like the, oh my God, Tyra thing. I was just kind of in shock because I really felt like it never was going to happen for me and that I would never be standing in front of her, let alone competing on a show that I've dreamed of for the last 13, 14 years of my life. And I introduced myself and said, hi, I'm Jeana, you know, I'm from Minneapolis, or whatever they wanted me to say, when in reality at the time I was living in Vegas. I'm really from Minnesota. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee. And right away they start with these weird little like ba-dum. Like, I love Ashley Graham. Ashley Graham is the shit. She's amazing. She's like a big sister. She is who she is on TV. She was like doing these weird little like ba-dum like things. So she was like, so you've done some like ba-dum modeling, right? And I was just like, huh? And she was like, yeah, like, you know, some like sexy stuff. And Tyra said, yeah, you went from like little girl modeling to like Va Va Boom or something like that. And I was like, are you guys referring to Playboy? And they were like, yeah. I was like, yeah, of course. Like, I was like, yeah, I've done Playboy. You know, I did Playboy when I was 18 years old. I lied and said I was 21 because I thought it was cool. But I said, yeah, like I did, you know, and so Tyra looked, all I said was yes. And I didn't deny it. I never denied it. You guys found out that I did Playboy episode 10, and they kind of tried to use it as, it's not lingerie, thank you, it's a bodysuit. But you guys didn't find that out until episode 10. So it kind of made you guys view it as something that I kept as a secret, and that production found out later and used against me. That's not the case. They knew about Playboy when I was doing Skype interviews from my house before I was guaranteed a cast member. I never kept that a secret. I know I never kept it a secret because even for Playboy, I used my real first and my real last name. I never tried to hide it. I never wanted to. So why would I do it now? So, I told Tyra, yeah, you know, I did. And she said, so, God, what exactly did she say? I think I got defensive right away because I feel like her demeanor kind of changed sitting on the panel. Like, she kind of crossed her arms and was just, like, looking at me like all weird, right? And I remember telling her, yeah, I have done Playboy. And I said, for me, in my career, I wanted to be a model so bad. I want to be a high fashion model so bad. And none of it happened for me because I'm short, or because of how I look, or because of my body type, or whatever the case may be. So it made sense as a small girl with a little bit of curves to be put in lingerie and swimwear. No, Tyra hasn't done Playboy. Actually, Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell, legends, have done Playboy. But I told her it made sense for stylists and people to, of course America's Next Top Model helped with my career, you guys. There's no way that it didn't. It gave me a little bit more exposure. I had exposure before. It gave me a little bit more. But did it hurt me in my career? Sure, I've gotten things, but that's because I hustle. But if I didn't hustle, I don't think these things would just be passed to me. I do think it hurt my career. Sorry. But that's amazing that you wouldn't know me if it wasn't for ANTM. A lot of people wouldn't, but I had 180,000 followers before the show even started. So 180,000 people did know of me before Top Model, and That's not even 50% of the ratio right now. So that's all. They didn't make me, you guys. They didn't make me. And that is one of the shittiest feelings, because for people, shittiest things for me to hear people say, because they mentally broke me down to feel like nothing and to feel so small. Like, what? I'm not saying Tyra isn't a legend. Sure, she's legendary in her own right, but I'm saying Kate Moss and Naomi went the full legend spectrum. That's all. Done. Yes, I made me. That shade whoop whoop. And other people throw fucking shade all the time. Why can't I be shady? Why can't I be shady? Please tell me. If you guys can see through the shade, you should be able to see the light at the end of it too, right? Don't dish out what you can't take back. Anyways, but she told me, before this gets a little too hostile, because a lot of you are sitting there, I think, trying to take her side and back up. I'm gonna ignore you guys' comments actually for a while, because I feel a lot of you go left field and try to get me to sound like an asshole or sound offensive and pull me in a way that I'm not able to express how I really feel. Hi, Kimber. FYI, Kimber London, you guys, was supposed to be the other bald girl on my season. They actually swapped my character, her character, for me. Believe it or not. Go follow Kimber. She's really sweet. But I'm assuming you're one of those dumb little kids typing in his room, in his mama's house, by leaving that comment. So I'm gonna leave you right there. But anyways, back to the story. But I walked in and I said, hi, my name is Jeana, I'm from Minneapolis, blah, 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 talked about the Playboy stuff. And I just told them, everyone who I've worked with in my career has always put me in swimsuits or lingerie or whatever, because I'm so tiny and nothing fits me, and I'm not 6 feet tall, and I'm not an Amazon girl, and I don't look like these girls, and I don't look like high fashion. And at the time, I was so clung and attached to my wig, there was no ability for people to see the bald, high fashion, avant-garde, couture aspect of me whatsoever. Like, I'm telling you, I was insecure as shit. So insecure, I literally could not leave my house. I couldn't even walk to the mailbox 10 feet down my driveway without my wig on. I couldn't do it, you guys. People knew about it. I didn't keep my alopecia a secret. People knew about it before I went to the show. Everyone around me knew that I had it. They just had never seen it. But yeah, so, I just told her, everyone tried to keep me sexy in my career, and I figured out at an early age with my career in the beginning of everything that sex sells, and I pointed at Tyra, I said, you've said it on this show plenty of times that sex sells, and I found out that was what was going to work for my career, and Tyra said, I swear to God, you guys, sorry, I had a call, but I had, shit, what was I saying? Attention span of a goldfish. Okay, yeah. So I said, sex sells, and you've said on this show plenty of times, sex sells, and I found out what works for my career, And this doesn't mean I'm having sex. It doesn't mean I'm escorting. That doesn't mean I'm tricking. That doesn't mean I have a pimp. That doesn't mean that my vagina is being penetrated on the internet. There's a difference. A lot of people think that, pornography and nude modeling are the same thing. Porn is very different than just a girl standing there naked, no matter what you can see. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. Pornography is sexual intimacy and usually penetration of some form. And I have never been exposed on the internet that way. I've never taken photos that way. I've never done videos that way. I am not that girl. I actually grew up very insecure with my body. Didn't lose my virginity until I was 16, almost 17 years old, to my high school sweetheart of 5 years. I was not that girl, so as much as they tried to make it seem like that to me, I wasn't the sexy girl. So when I got that label all the time, it really frustrated me, because I didn't ever feel sexy. Not at all. But you guys, when I said sex sells and you've said that on this show, and I just found out that that worked for my career. She crossed her fucking arms. Tyra Banks crossed her arms and looked at me and said, I don't like that. You sound like a fucking prostitute. And turns and looks this way and would not make eye contact with me the entire time. And I started bawling because I just had the woman that I've idolized my entire life tell me that I sound like a fucking prostitute. And little do you guys know, I grew up in foster care. It seemed on TV, they made it sound on TV like I lost my mom, like she died. My mom didn't die, but I did lose my mom's strength and lose my mom to drug abuse and prostitution when I was a kid. I was put in foster care. I grew up in foster care. I would never repeat the same things that my mom did that put me in the positions and the shit that I dealt with as a kid. So for me, it was so offensive to me that I just started crying. And I had 4 judges at that point, 4 different people yelling different slandering things back to me, basically telling me that I sounded slutty or I sounded whorish or that I was wrong. The only person that didn't bash me was Ashley Graham. And she told me, fuck what these people say. And she literally put her hand up to Tyra's face and said, don't ever let anybody make you feel like you've done something wrong with your own body. She said, you are beautiful. She said, I've been naked all over plenty of magazines. I've showed my body everywhere. And she said, and I'm still proud to this day. She was like, never say sorry, never apologize. She was like, you're not wrong. Your body is beautiful and you are beautiful. And I'm telling you, when I started bawling, trying to defend myself, Tyra uncrossed her arms and goes, now tell me about alopecia. And that's where you guys see my interviews start. They skip all the Playboy stuff. They skip all the shit that makes me me. And make you guys think I'm a totally different person right off the bat. And I didn't know about this until the show airs. I watch it when you guys watch it. It's like, so when it's airing on, VH1 at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, like, I'm tuning in when you tune in. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't prepare for these things, And, like, you guys, what's Noel, like, whoever this person is so that I can go block him? I don't have patience for that. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't even care to feed into that shit. I love blocking people. I really do. I have thousands and thousands of people on a list that are blocked. And most of it came from America's Next Top Model just because I couldn't physically, like, read my comments anymore. Like, every time I got on the internet or got on my own page or, like, it was constant. Like, I posted something that didn't even have anything to do with America's Next Top Model. Like, just a campaign or work that I got. And it was like, I think a lot of people, too, think that I forget or that I don't see the people who are being positive and who are being supportive. And, hold on. One second, guys. Let me find this person really quick. I'm not even reading any of his comments, so it shows how impactful he is. I don't even know where this person's thing is. We feel like you are being exploited. Oh, I'm exploiting myself. You can't see my nipples. What are you talking about? Oh, he's probably talking about Playboy. Hey, it is what it is. You sucked on some titties to grow into the human body that you possess right now. So, just saying. Titties are very necessary in life. That's all. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna hide this from him so he can't see it anymore, and then we'll go back and handle that later. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, you guys can all report him too. I would appreciate that. trying to think of other things that happened. There was so much that happened, and a lot of it was traumatic. And when I was a kid, I went through a lot of things like that. A lot of shit I didn't want to remember. A lot of memories that weren't worth having. A lot of, like, I need to forget this in my life. You know, a lot of things were just crappy. So I don't really have much of a memory from being a kid because I think I mentally just, like, blocked a lot of things out. But the same thing happened with America's Next Top Model for a while, and, like, everything was so fresh to me, and I wanted to share right away. But at that point, no one had even known that I was on the show. I didn't have verification, you know, I didn't have a little blue check mark, like, you know, like, none of that, you know. And, like, I was also scared of the contract at the time, so of course, like, didn't want to say anything. But I think I wanted to block it all out just because it was so horrible, and the only thing I could remember were the good things, which weren't a lot. Was I actually trying to sabotage Christiana during the Pantene shoot? Yes. Okay, so yes, okay, I want to explain this to you guys because a lot of people have asked me. No, actually, I was not trying to sabotage Christiana. I've never tried to sabotage anybody. Even the shoot with Director X, where they made it seem like I was standing there and I laughed at Christiana breaking her heel, I didn't go to that spot. They literally came to the dressing room, the hair and makeup room, and grabbed me and walked me to her photo shoot and had me stand in a specific spot that made it look like I was spectating. But they literally told me I had to stand here, and I was like, okay. So awkward. Yeah, and as far as the Pantene shoot goes, no, I didn't sabotage her. So we actually got the day before, we had a mock Pantene shoot where we had to be our own creative director, and we set up the backdrop, we picked our own hair and makeup, our wardrobe, everything, the props, like, you name it, and they gave us a product that we had to focus on. So mine was Volume. I don't remember exactly what Christiana's was. And just so you guys are aware, I do have one friend, and one person who I am really close to in this world, like, outside of the show and in real life, and somebody who I genuinely love, like, to the core, and I would certainly hope she feels that way about me too. But Christiana is a really good friend of mine, you guys, and I love her like a sister. And if there's a girl I've spoken to almost every day or every other day since the show and since we lived together, it's her. And that was one person that they really made it seem like we hated each other. It's not true. But we had a mock photo shoot, right? So they give me Volume, and I'm like, all right. So they bring out all these wigs on the table. The wigs, all of the wigs were staged. I never picked out my wig, besides for this mock shoot. So it wasn't a stab at Christiana. I'm not sure if you can see it. I have a pimple here too. This is the... Guys, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I lost 40 people. Ugh. Well, I don't know about Shanice, really, to be completely honest, because she said on TV that I hate that bitch, and she was saying that about me. So I don't think I did anything to deserve that. So I don't really know about Shanice, and I don't really... I wish her the best, but she's not somebody that... She's somebody I was really nice to, actually. Like, super fucking nice to. And she said that about me. So I was very caught off guard by that. But anyway, what was I saying? Shoot, what was I saying? Oh, the Pantene shoot with Christiana. So they decided to pick out all these wigs. Don't ask me about individual contestants, you guys, because I literally would be talking for days. Yes, being on ice is real. Ice means shut up. It literally means do not talk. The premise between ice is that if there's no camera, no talking. So they basically want to capture every single moment. So, like, if there's no camera in the room, I swear to God, you guys are literally not allowed to talk to each other. Even if it's like, hey, can you pass me those chips over there? They don't want you to speak to each other. They want to capture every good, bad, evil, and in-between moment all on camera. Who said they hated you? Shanice, actually, on her interview, she said, I hate that bitch. Ooh! All right, that's a strong word. But she hated me, but she never said anything to the house. Like, no, in the house to me. Like, no, you don't want it with me. And she knew that. I'm pretty sure everyone did. But anyway, back to Christiana and the Pantene shoot. So they laid out these wigs on the table, and I think they had like 5 or 6 different wigs, and they have they have everything from brown to like this like platinum blonde. And the brown ones, like, put it this way, the brown ones were short. The closer we got in the color spectrum to the blonde hair, the longer it got. So with me having volume as my product to talk about, I felt like I needed big, voluminous hair. So of course I went with the longest option. The 3 longest options were all platinum blonde, guys. You know, and a lot of people will, I know I saw a lot of comments and people saying, you know, that I chose it to mock Christiana or to go after Christiana, or that, you know, this is a real mole. This is my own personal mole next to a pimple, but it's my own mole. I just asked the lady to make it darker. I've always had the same mole in the same spot as Marilyn Monroe. And that was my inspiration for the shoot, was Marilyn Monroe. It wasn't Christiana or Kyla or Shanice. Like, it was me and what I wanted to do and who I was inspired by. And that was Marilyn Monroe. You guys, my very first tattoo I got the day I turned fucking 18 years old, and it says "Imperfection is beauty," and it's the beginning of a Marilyn Monroe quote. So for me, that was the inspiration for my shoot, and volume, and like, you know, bigger, and like one of the descriptions on my product was like diamond shine or something like that. So I was just like, yes, I have been crying. That's why my eyes are puffy. But it was like diamond shine or something like that. So I was like, ooh, Marilyn Monroe, like diamonds are a girl's best friend kind of theme, you know. So that's why I picked up the little diamond, and like, you know, the big flower, and like just moments of like that all white but that little pop of red, or like little things like that, you know. But it was never, ever to mock Christiana. And my inspiration, flat out, was Marilyn Monroe. Flat out. So the next day was our actual Pantene shoot with the client, with Pantene. And Danilo, the hairstylist who did our hair, actually custom cut a blonde wig for me at home the day before, and brought it to this shoot for me to wear. And he actually came up to me off camera. And these are moments that you can choose to believe or not, you know, but I know what I experienced that was or wasn't on camera, and a lot of the things that I experienced were off camera, and you guys will never know or understand. But this man comes up to me and shows me a picture of his phone, and it's 3 pictures of Marilyn Monroe. And maybe if some of you are huge fans of Marilyn Monroe or like her, you would definitely know which picture I'm talking about. But there's a black and white picture of Marilyn Monroe sitting on, I think it either might be a floor or like a little small bench, and with a white tulle skirt on, and she's sitting like this, and she's laughing and like this, but the skirt is huge. It's a huge white skirt. So he tells me, these are our inspiration photos for you for today, and we loved your idea yesterday, and using Marilyn Monroe as an inspiration, so we're going to bring it in today, but make you kind of like a rock and roll, like carefree Marilyn Monroe, like a real super modern Marilyn. And I was like, okay, I'm super down, super down. So they put the wig on me, they style me, and maybe I'll be a little honest with you guys. I'm 5'3", I weigh 103 pounds, I'm a size 00. My waist is 21.5 inches. I'm a really small person. Most nothing fits me, ever, you know, and I always just tell people the smaller the better. I'm just teeny tiny. The wardrobe was always way too big for me. They always had to pin it. They always had to do something. The top was huge on me. This strap that was on me on this side, the shirt was stiff. It was a vintage leather shirt. So the strap was just stiff. It wasn't a stretchy strap like this. It just kept falling off, you know, and I'm in the middle of my shoot trying to pick it back up and then also laugh and then fucking pick it back up and move my pose, like pick it back up and go, you know, like I'm trying to like use it in my motions, right? Well, they happened to choose one of the shots where it happened to be down. At the time I was flat chested. I was 89 pounds going into America's Next Top Model. I was 89 pounds. Had no boobs, I didn't really have boobs growing up. I literally just got boobs like last summer. But I didn't have this body, you know, and I definitely didn't approach that shoot in a sexy way, and I didn't try to. Specifically because I saw the inspiration pictures, and she was literally balled up doing this, and that's part of the reason why I sat on the floor, and, you know, I did what I did, and it apparently comes across too sexy. And they make me stay in my wardrobe, though. And then it's Christiana's turn to shoot. So Christiana's doing amazing in her shoot, but they made her switch an outfit and made her completely switch, like, her clothes and her look, and put her on a different background. When they put her on a different background, they come once again, and they come and grab me, and they walk me over to her set, and they tell me to stand right here. Stand right here and watch. Why? Like, why? I got in trouble that day from production for not being interactive with the girls because I was so busy talking to stylists, talking to makeup artists, talking to the graphic guy, talking to the guy who's running video, talking to the new photographer. I tried my hardest to network my ass off and not feed into any of the drama, even when the opportunities presented themselves. I avoided it. They literally yelled at me that day and told me that they will send me home if I do not interact with the girls more, and that I need to go sit by the girls and talk instead of standing over here. At that time, I was talking to the wardrobe stylist. And that's where I walked over, and I probably was kind of like upset because of what they just said to me, but I wasn't upset at Christiana, and I wasn't trying to interrogate her or like instigate her shoot or anything like that. Not that kind of person. And honestly, when you really think about it, why would I do it at a shoot and not do it at the house? If I was really going to be a catty, shady bitch, I would do something in the house that will throw you off your game so that you're already off by the time you get to the shoot. Let's be real. You know, like, I'm not going to do something and walk up to you in the middle of your shoot. Like, she's a seasoned model. She's a professional model. Like, nothing I could do would affect her anyway, and who does that? I'm a grown woman at the time. I'm 24 years old. I'm not 21, like, feeding into all this drama, you know, and, like, I never did that. I never acted that way. And even in the moments where, like, they would say to the girls, like, I was talking about this the other day. Shanice said during one of her interviews that she hates that bitch, talking about me, because I think that I'm better than everyone. I don't think I'm better than anyone at all. I don't even think that I had much self-worth before the competition, let alone to go into it thinking that I'm better than everyone. They got one comment from me saying I'm better than all of these girls. I'm gonna admit that, they did. But it was after we had a runway competition, and they told me in front of everybody that I had the best runway walk out of everybody, and at the end of the day, I was their competition. My runway walk is the best. That's all, you know. And when it came to runway, I never walked before the show. I never practiced before the show. They made it seem like I practiced runway all the time. I never did. The first moments walking were our first, hey, it's me. Like, I never did runway. I'm 5'3", let's be real. No one put me on a runway before, you know? So strange. So that's the one clip that they got. And instead of talking about in runway, they just said, I'm better than all of these girls here. Instead of talking about the runway. And franken biting is a very real thing. If you guys don't know about it, please look it up. There's also a show called Adam Ruins Everything, and Adam will ruin reality TV for you. I watched it the other day, and I was actually, like, so shocked by how many things I knew personally, but then that. But no, you guys, I didn't go out of my way to intimidate Christiana. I wouldn't do that. Let's be real. I'm 5'3" and 100 pounds. Christiana is way taller than 5'3" and definitely not 100 pounds. She's a plus model. We would never compete for the same jobs. We're both beautiful in our own right, but in no way, shape, or form would we ever compete or go up for the same jobs. So I would never do that in a situation like that. I've been in this industry a really, really long time, and I also do know how to conduct myself, and I'm also very aware of cameras. And I would never just go on national TV and honestly make an ass out of myself, knowing that I wanted a career after. Somebody said, okay, so I'm going to get to the desert situation, but somebody said what happens when you're eliminated. So, what do you guys think happens when we're eliminated? We go home, right? Like, I want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys think happens when we get eliminated? And it's like, oh my god, bye Tyra, didn't get my picture. Bye girls, love you guys. I wish I could have made it farther, but I didn't. Then what happens? Antoinette said hotel. T said y'all leave. Esposa Bella says they keep you locked up. Hannah says you go back. Jonathan says pack up and take your pictures. So we said I heard you get stuck in a hotel room. Go back to the hotel. Send you to your hotel. Okay, so all of you guys who said hotel are completely correct. They actually call it an annex location. It's completely quiet. And even when you get eliminated, you don't get your phone back. You're still under the same rules and pretenses that you would be if you were competing in the house. And they do make you do more interviews, yes. You are correct. But they keep you there throughout the whole thing. So the saddest part, for instance, Maggie Keating. I love Maggie. They eliminated her on day 3. This girl sat in a hotel for 2 months. The entire 2 months. No, you don't get your stuff back. They don't give you your phone back. You can't use your hotel phone. You can, but you'll get in trouble. But yeah, all of our phones... Actually, no, I don't think you could use your phones. All of our phones had access to be turned on and turned off remotely from somewhere else on property. So, yeah, you don't go home. And then as far as the desert incident, so it was beautiful. Like the shoot, the location, everything was amazing. The idea, the concept was awesome. I was given, and I don't like to do that, but I got this and she got that. I'm not that girl. I don't give a shit. The modeling industry is not fair. Not at all. So I'm never going to put myself up against another girl in that, do you at least stay in the same hotel? Yeah, they put all the girls in the same hotel, but they pair you, so they won't give you a room by yourself for this one, but they pair you with the girl that got the closestly, whatever, eliminated to you, so that you only know a certain amount more detail than what you knew when you left. So they try to still keep you in this, like, you don't know this, you don't know this, you don't know this. So for instance, when I got eliminated for 6 hours, literally 6 hours, I went back to the hotel and I was roomed with Erin because she was the one eliminated right before me during the paper challenge. I didn't actually let the rest of the girls know. I didn't want anyone to know. I'm going to have to come back on here because this is going to end in 2 minutes. So all the rest of the girls were shocked the next morning when they realized I was one of the eliminated girls and I had to go back and compete with them. But I didn't want anybody to know. It just was like a really weird situation for me. Very strange. But as far as the desert incident, why do you think to the way they said you were giving reasons but were actually excuses? I think that they don't want anything that justifies your side. I don't think that they want you to come across as it was a reason, not an excuse, you know? Like, they always try to make you seem like you're little moodles, like you're just learning. Some of us maybe, you know, but not all of us. Yeah, I'm not really an excuse maker. So it's kind of weird. I'm definitely going to save this, you guys. I'm going to come back with another one. I'm not going to talk about Liz. All of you asking me about Liz, I'm not going to talk about it. She's not lying. She was bullied out of the house. Somebody threatened her life.